So, in the previous episode, we made a metal box to which the decorative threshold should adhere. It is currently made of foam board. We applied putty to it and perfected the shape. This means we can take a mold from this shape and create the threshold from fiberglass mat. Also in this episode, we will estimate how much the project has cost us, and its total cost. But let's take it step by step. Andre took on the thresholds. First, we mix the gel coat. It's something like a primer that is applied to the release agent. In our case, an alcohol-based release agent. As you can see, it is blue and already in place. The next step is to lay fiberglass mat on the gray gel coat, saturate with polyester resin, several layers. As a result, the next day we have a rigid mold taken from the foam model. All that's left is to remove the foam and use the mold to roll out a brand new threshold, but this time from strong fiberglass. As you might have guessed, something went wrong. The fact is, this time we used an untested release agent due to supply issues, and it doesn't separate at all. It feels like it even sticks the model to the mold more strongly. As a result, an operation that should have taken a couple of minutes stretched into 2 full days for Andre. But we have what we have. Plus 5 to experience and minus 2 days of life. The next step is to coat these molds with a proven wax. Everything follows the old routine. Gel coat, resin, and fiberglass mat layer by layer. Meanwhile, while Andre is busy with the thresholds, Valera is tinkering with the front end. We are slowly approaching the point where we can work on the mold for the front panels, wings, and hood. In the end, we will replace this worn-out metal with fresh, lightweight, and strong fiberglass. To do this, we remove the decorative elements, clean up the rust, and can start sanding. Since all this paint looks very questionable and might eventually cause surprises, we remove as much of it as possible. And after about 10 Valera hours, we have a clean surface on which we can apply kilograms of filler and shape it. So that at this point we have been working on the build in Algat for 10 months, and all expenses amounted to a little over $40,000 or 3 million rubles. It will take about the same amount of time to complete the project, and all this will definitely cost no less than $100,000. In the comments, I often came across the question of which windshield we will install. Well, glass of such non-standard unique sizes is made to order, but the production is located 300 kilometers away from us, in our case in Minsk. And in order to give the craftsman the exact dimensions and shape, a special frame is made. We take a profile, measure the opening, cut the necessary piece, run it through a pipe bender, estimate, adjust again, and repeat this many times. All this looks simple and quick on the screen, but in reality, it took more than 1 Valera hour, and it didn't start off so cheerfully. The frame was ready and negotiated with the glass.
On air, Radio Lihoy Topor. This is Koi 8 speaking. I have a question. How do you plan to change the wheelbase? You'll have to move the entire subframe.
Yes, there were many questions about how we actually moved the front wheels. We missed that moment and didn't really explain anything, even though a huge amount of work was done.
A few words about how we actually relocated our front wheels forward by a little bit, 15 centimeters. There were many debates and discussions about how to properly and thoroughly move to the front axle and still keep the car drivable. In the end, guys, Ladima and Sasha from Unitas Performance, a huge thank you to them. The guys have a lot of experience in building sports, these cars, drift cars. This is not their first time, they did everything excellently. The guys took the entire subframe with the engine, gearbox, steering rack, and the entire front suspension on it. they moved the load-bearing structure and pushed forward not the load-bearing, but the Fearless one. Now we have much less space for the radiator, but that's a minor issue. They made new mounting points for the subframe. Guys, move the strut towers. We forgot the processing earlier. The strut towers were located. Everything worked out here. As planned, for example, here's the test wing where it used to be. We lengthened the drive shaft, wanted to dampen it, but it turned out that the steering drive shaft extended from ZEV. They called on the radio.